Welcome back to YAFFEE Live. This is the Talk Monster. I am Tennessee's voice of reason, Chattanooga's conservative conscience. Glad you have joined the show today. And it's Thursday, so you know what that means. We have our weekly conversation with Brandon Lewis, who is the founder of the Tennessee Conservative, and you can read his latest stuff at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Brandon, how are you today, sir?
Man, I'm fantastic. Glad to get into this. We've got a lot going on in the legislature.
I was about to say, and I keep telling people because it's the truth, that when it comes to, Tennessee, what's going on in the legislature, bills being put forward, you guys are the best at it. I mean, you guys keep really good track of it.
We really are the only publication in the state of Tennessee that covers the legislature intently from a conservative perspective. We've got one competitor, and you give them a little bit of campaign money, they'll write whatever kind of article you want, and then we've got everybody on the left. We've got lots of folks on the left that keep up with the legislature really well, but we've only got one publication, and it's because we're subscriber supported. Lets us tell the truth.
Well, I mean, I was even going to say, too, that, like, the ones that are on the left, or more of the mainstream ones, they barely even cover, it seems like, what's going on in the legislature. I mean, just in terms of specific bills and everything like that, like some of those mainstream ones, I don't hear anything.
Oh, they would rather cover Trump calling somebody a bad name in an op-ed, extolling all the virtues of things that we can't control. But the good news is when you keep up with state and local, you can reach out. You can call your legislators. You can go up to the Capitol. You can email. You can text. And believe it or not, it makes an impact.
Yes, it does. So let's get to some of the stories you have on all of this. I see right here that there is a bill that's being put forward. It would criminalize illegal immigrants who are found in Tennessee who are under final deportation orders. And this is really more about basically cooperating with ICE, it sounds like, just kind of having an extra step to cooperate with ICE. So talk about this.
Well, it essentially just means that if you already have a deportation order and you're caught in Tennessee for anything, that it creates a Class A misdemeanor for anyone who attempts to enter the state or cross state lines into the state. And what it really is it's another penalty, meaning that you're penalized at the federal level and then you're penalized again at the state level. And this again goes, it's not prevention, it's deterrence. I mean, by the time folks get arrested. However, my hope is if we pile up enough of this petty ante stuff, that eventually word gets around the nation that when you're looking for a state to go to after you've broken the immigration laws, that Tennessee is going to have bigger repercussions should you be unfortunate enough to find yourself at a stop sign, turning right on a no right sign, and then you get picked up, and things of that nature. So it's not very preventative, but it is something that gives us another tool in our tool belt at the state level. So, I'll take it.
Better than nothing. You seem to have that attitude a bunch lately when it comes to the Tennessee legislature.
It's not me. It is not me. I just report the news. I mean, the thing that would solve this, which they don't want to solve because they've got so many corporations, you cut off the jobs, the education, and the benefit magnets, and this problem's gone tomorrow. But that is a bridge too far. It's what constituents want. It's what GOP primary voters want, but it's unlikely that leadership will go that far. That's just my guess.
Okay. So on this issue, we have the fact that Tennessee state senator is introducing a bill to keep commercial drivers off roads if unable to read and speak English. And it's kind of similar to the last one where it's really helping enforce federal guidelines, right?
Now, this one I would say is far better than the last one because having mobility is key to work. It's key to everything. And it's a bill that requires an individual applying for a driver's license to read English sufficiently. And if they can't, they would be issued a restricted driver's license that's only valid for a year, at which time they would be mandated to retake the written driver's exam in English. And it also requires evidence that the applicant is either a United States citizen, lawful permanent resident, or has a temporary residency status before the vehicle may be registered to them. Now, I don't know this last part. if this is retroactive, if this is when you're registering a new car in Tennessee. I'm not sure if this is actually after somebody is found not to be. I'd have to call Brent Taylor. My guess is with Brent running this, that it's probably a little bit more meaningful. He has been very conservative in his work in Memphis. My hat's off to that gentleman.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. But again, I think anything that is tied to driver's licenses specifically would be helpful. And it's not just about reducing illegal immigration, although that's likely the aim of this bill. I could not imagine, like, if you're driving around in a country and you can't read the road signs, if you get pulled over by a police officer and all you can go is see and shake your head, do we need to have you on the road?
Well, yeah, and you're talking about safety, and you're actually commenting on, you're talking about just all driver's licenses, because that's being introduced by Representative Kip Capley and Senator Brent Taylor, and that, I guess, goes along with another one where we're talking about specifically commercial drivers off the roads, too.
Yes. Now, the commercial driver is brought by Janice Bowling, and I'm telling you, anytime you see Janice Bowling's name on a bill, you know that it's meaningful. And hers would require an enforcement officer to issue an out-of-service order. So if you pull over a commercial driver and they're driving an 18-wheeler full of TNT and gasoline, and you start talking to them and you realize they cannot communicate with you, that you could issue an out-of-service order. And it lines up with those same federal requirements as well. And it says, if you're found unable to read and speak the English language sufficiently to converse with the general public, to understand traffic signs and signals, or to respond to official inquiries. And so your license would be suspended until you could demonstrate the ability. And chances are, if you're driving a truck and you get your CDL suspended in Tennessee, there's a good chance you're just going to go to another state that is more illegal immigrant friendly. And, here's the big one that may cause this particular bill to be killed, and that is this. And this is, whenever you see stuff like this, it makes me wonder if Janice can get this across the finish line. Although it should go, and it goes, the employer of the driver given an out-of-service order would be charged with a Class C misdemeanor and given a citation punishable by $500. It's when the corporations get entangled in this mess and when they potentially lose money that things tend to get in trouble. So we'll see it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and this story wasn't in your list, but when you were talking about that, it reminded me of a story I had on my bullet points where it wanted to ban foreign adversaries from buying land, for anything, not just agricultural land, but land. That would include China and Russia. And I kind of had the same thought. Sounds good, but now you're talking about possibly big money interest involved. Can a bill like that get through the finish line? So I think you and I were kind of thinking similar when it comes to bills like that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on a committee voting against this. This is one of those things where if you vote against it, someone running against you could easily say that you're in favor of illegal immigrants obtaining commercial driver's licenses. I mean, it's not one-on-one on my record because I don't think it'd play well with primary voters. But everybody has had, almost everyone in Tennessee, if you drive around enough, you have been almost ran off the road or pulled out in front of by someone who can't speak English, and everyone has a story of a friend that's been hit by someone who didn't have insurance that is here illegally, and they just skate, right? You and I pay some monstrous penalty and we watch our insurance go through the roof, and we're essentially subsidizing folks that aren't taking responsibility with the insurance laws that are in Tennessee. So we'll see what happens with it. All we can do is watch the votes come down, and of course we'll be reporting on that so you can know who's with the GOP primary voters and who's with the corporations.
Yeah, and I know you guys do polls a lot. And, when you're talking about GOP primary voters in Tennessee, I'm sure a lot of them subscribe to your publication or at least read it, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. And I'm sure you've done polling on some of this, and they would support a bill like this.
Oh, yeah. When you read the mainstream articles in the Chattanooga Times Free Press and others, every time there's like a mainstream 80% issue, that it probably is a 30 or 35% issue with Democrats as well. they act like it's extreme. I'm like, no, it's not extreme. We're like 70-some-odd% GOP in the state, and in the county it would be a little bit higher. And this is just what people want. It's not what the reporters want. It's not what the corporately funded publications want, but it is what the folks that send these people to Nashville are asking for.
Speaking with Brandon Lewis, he's the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. We're going over some of the top stories from his site right now. He joins me every week. And by the way, this segment of the show will show up on his website tomorrow at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Kind of moving past the illegal immigration issue. I know you got a story here, which I find pretty interesting. There's a bill that would amend Tennessee pronoun law to protect individuals from being forced to use preferred honorifics. Explain what's in this bill.
I actually don't have that one. I don't know that you selected that one.
Oh, did I not? I apologize. I apologize that I missed that one.
You're going to have to tell me. You're going to have to tell me what that one's about, YAFFEE.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I had it in my bullet points earlier this week, but according to the article, it says a bill that would amend the state's pronoun law to protect individuals from being forced to use preferred honorifics, along with preferred names and pronouns, has been introduced in the Tennessee General Assembly. So Senator Paul Rose is partnering this year with Representative Aaron Mayberry to sponsor legislation that would amend the law to protect the rights of individuals to refuse to call a biological male Miss, Ma'am, or Mrs., or a biological female calling them Mr. or Sir. So I guess there already is a law when it comes to preferred pronouns, but they're just adding another layer to this when it comes to, so if there's a biological male, they can't force you to call that person Miss or Mrs. or something.
It is so confusing. I just never, there's a handful of, when I grew up, there were occasionally a few bearded ladies working a convenience store somewhere, and maybe you had to take a second look and just to and they weren't trying. Mm-hmm. But the thing that kills me is like you'll go somewhere and there's this 250-pound dude, full beard. He's not even tried to put on makeup. I mean, this is the worst makeup job you've ever seen. It's like lipstick all over the place, like one spot of rouge, got a couple of earrings at the Dollar General. And like, if you call him Sir when he rings you up and says, that'll be 546, you're supposed to he's all offended. Mm-hmm. And so I'm all for that. I don't know how much of a difference this bill will make, but at least the sentiment's moving in the right direction.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what happened here. There are 2 6s on your list. I wonder if that's that's why.
Well, yes, I just print them by the page number. Sorry, YAFFEE, not better. That's a clerical administrative error on our part.
It's all good. It's all good. I just figured you still have a comment on it, and what you said is exactly right. I'm speaking with Brandon Lewis, and that story, yes, is on their website, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. How about this story? Let's see if you want to comment on this one. You got a story about a Tennessee bill that allows for chaplains in schools.
Yeah, and so I'm glad to see this stuff move in the direction. I think that you and I discussed previously a school that would allow for the Bible to be taught in historical context, and we talked about that. It's part of the founding of our country. It is the basis for so much literature. I mean, you can't. It's inextricably linked with America. And Janice Bowling and Aaron Mayberry are carrying this, and it allows a school chaplain or a member of the clergy that's credentialed by a religious organization to basically come in and help in schools. And it would be to provide support services programs for student, staff, parents, etc. They do have to obviously go through background checks and things of that nature, although good grief, every freaking day. It is even every week. It's like every week, every day, just about on the Tennessee Conservative, we run some story about a teacher, coach, whatever, primarily sexually molesting kids. And I've got a friend that actually screens teachers, runs an organization for that. They recently did a training on it, and it is far more prevalent than what you would think in Tennessee. And of course, there has to be some kind of waiver that parents sign, which I think is kind of a weird situation. But I've often thought, YAFFEE, that I see people all the time that get into situations in life where they need some advice. and often they want to go the clinical psychiatrist route. And I've got friends and family, and I've not seen that turn out well. It turns into a prescription factory. And often what people are wrestling with mentally or spiritually, it can't be solved with a pill bottle. And we've seen what the over-medication of Americans have led to. And so I would much rather have somebody who is a well-respected clergyman to come in and help some of these kids and parents and staff members in tough situations, because it always can't be explained logically, and it can't be medicated away. Sometimes it's a spiritual issue.
Well, and, it wouldn't hurt, as well, just to have that option, I think. So, at the very least.
When I need advice, some of the very first people I go are the pastors in my church. I mean, I don't, bother them every time I've got a hangnail or anything, but I got a serious life decision. I like to run it by them and see, especially if I'm looking for something that a biblical lens, and I think that would be great. And it would especially be great for Christian kids that are in the community of the school to know that they've got somebody that shares their values they can go talk to, instead of some secular, school psychologist who's got rainbow flags plastered all over their office. And so I would much rather have those alternatives at least available to students in Tennessee.
Brandon Lewis is with the Tennessee Conservative. Subscribe on their site, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. The latest news will show up every day in your email inbox. Brandon, appreciate it. As always, I know we'll talk to you again next time.
All right, dude. Keep up the good work. We'll see you next time.